morning. What a delightful morning for those of you that were here. You know, you kind of forget. I think there were 80 kindergartners and how excited they were. And I want to thank Santa Claus, and I want to thank Mrs. Santa Claus, and I want to thank the two elves because, you know, this was such a special event. For some reason, I have not attended this, and I think we do it every year. So how many have attended this before? See? And what you're missing out on if you don't come and see the bright, shiny faces of all those beautiful children. So anyway, good morning. We'll start now. We're going to have our actually it's a holiday song played by Joy to the World, played by Harriet. So if everybody would please stand. Okay. Don't tell me I have to do this. It's supposed to be on there. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations grow. The glory of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. And now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're a little bit behind with our PowerPoint, but we're going to get there. I'm glad everybody knows the words. Okay, now I'd like to introduce Betty Lou Jonas, who's going to introduce our guest speaker today. Thank you, Betty.
What a pleasure it is for me to introduce a longtime friend and an 11-year resident of Westminster Oaks. This friend and her husband will soon celebrate their 66th wedding anniversary. And they are proud parents of 3 married students, 8 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. She is a native Floridian from Jacksonville, where her dad was an attorney, but she chose to go out of state for her college. She is an education graduate from Wake Forest in North Carolina. In addition to her primary career of marriage and motherhood, she taught middle and high school, but mostly as a substitute teacher. With her husband holding public office for many, many years, she was his biggest asset in assisting him in his career. The two of them have always been active in their church. Here in Tallahassee, they were founding members of St. Peter's Anglican Church, Anglican Cathedral. Wherever they were, she always was active in leading a Bible study. And I can attest to how good she is because I have participated. On a personal notification, it is she that introduced me to the Quest Study Bible, which I read and study every day, and I am forever grateful. We are indeed privileged to have Jane Harding to do our reflection. Jane?
Many of you are familiar with the late Presbyterian minister and author Eugene Peterson, and I'm quoting from his book entitled A Long Obedience in the Same Direction, which is centered around Psalms 120 through 134. And these were the Psalms of Ascent, which the pilgrims sang as they headed on a long journey to worship in Jerusalem. In Peterson's chapter on worship, he centers on Psalm 122 and the importance of worship whether we feel like doing it or not. And I quote, "We think that if we don't feel something, there can be no authenticity in doing it. But the wisdom of God says something different, that we can act ourselves into a new way of feeling much quicker than we can feel ourselves into a new way of acting." Worship is an act that develops feelings for God. This led me to Mother Teresa's words on feelings and acting. And as we go through our daily encounters with others, and I am quoting her words, people are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it is between you and God. It never was between you and them anyway. And as we pilgrims sing the songs of Advent and Christmas, may they draw you closer in your worship of God. And we pray that you will have a wonderful, fruitful Christmas. Whoops.
Thank you, Jane, for such wonderful words of inspiration. Okay, at this point, we're going to accept our minutes from our Residence Council meeting, November the 25th. And Darlene, is there a second? Any questions or corrections or additions? All in favor say aye, and the minutes are accepted. And now our treasurer, Gary Stillwell.
Morning. The treasurer's report for December the 16th is our budgeted income is still $38,000. Total income is $2,000. Expenses, about $38,000 we had planned on spending. Total expense so far is $8,000. Our bank accounts are what's the most interesting thing. The general fund contains $64,000. The employee gift fund is now $22,000, and there's an asterisk by that, so I will tell you about that later. And the foundation savings is $35,000. We have a total accounts of $121,000. The gift fund went very well this year. We made right at $194,000. And we're able to give everybody $650. So that's where all that $194,000 went. We still have that carryover of $22,000 because we got a lot of people came in a little bit late, and we didn't. The arithmetic didn't quite match the amount that we had in. So, at any rate, and our November, the 2024 end of month financial report has been uploaded to MyWLife, so you can get all of the details there. Thank you.
Now I'm going to remember this meeting. We have a motion to, I need a motion to accept our treasurer's report. Is there a second? Any questions or corrections? All in favor say aye. And the treasurer's report accepted. Thank you. On time. I do want to say a special thank you to all of the boutique ladies who had our pop-up Christmas sale in the pub, and it was a very successful endeavor. And our boutique people are really eager and ready to open up downstairs, and it can't open soon enough. We're hoping that sometime in the springtime we can get down to the lower level and enjoy everything that it has to offer. So I do want to thank all of those individuals who all of you who brought in items, and all of you that carried them out. I brought items, but if anybody's seen my home, I didn't dare come because I think every inch of my house is Christmas. So anyway, just to say. Okay, now Mike Rashad was going to be giving our communication update, but Janet Ferris is going to give a report to update us on what's happening with MyWLife. This is a committee that is so active in their endeavor to improve communication always for all of our residents. So, Janet?
Okay, I was drafted recently, last 24 hours. Mike's wife, Carol, unfortunately had a little fall, and she's in the hospital, so he's there. So I want all of us to send good wishes. She may be released today, so that's great news. So communications, the acronym CAC stands for Communications Advisory Committee. So that's our main mission, is to look at issues regarding communications and up. Okay, up there, okay. Well, actually, I think she's trying to give me instruction, which is, at my age, probably fruitless, but anyway. So this is the committee, and I want to encourage all residents, if you have issues regarding communications, and I'll indicate in a second that we're focusing right now primarily on MyWLife as a communication tool, but please come and talk to any member of the committee or to our chair, Mike, and we're happy to hear from you, because it really is helpful to know how people use these platforms or other forms of communication, and how well they work or don't work. We're also really grateful from the committee standpoint for our exceptional staff person, Laura Seaton, who has to put up with us and also assist us in getting things posted on MyWLife and changes made. So we really do appreciate Laura's very, very excellent help. Our work on MyWLife, we are committed to trying to make MyWLife more user-friendly. We want to also add any more useful and helpful content for residents. And we also want to report to our managers, either in Westminster Communities in Orlando or here, about any deficiencies that we find in the platform. And the platform is kind of an old one, the computer program that underlies MyWLife. But this company, it was called Touchtown, has been sold to or taken over by another company called Uniguest. So we're hopeful that some changes that we would like to see can be made. Our current work right now has been devoted to organizing, I know this sounds kind of silly, but organizing the icons, those little buttons on MyWLife. It's very confusing, and you have to go through a lot of icons in order to get where you want to go. We have user data on which ones are used the most. Go dining room menus, yay. So we want to put those in a convenient place right when you open the application, so that that's easy to find. We also have asked to change the appearance of some of the icons. Some of them are real counterintuitive. They don't make a lot of sense. But we have made some of those changes, and we'll go over that in a second. Also, we want to make sure that the little icon helps identify what's in the module, what's underneath there, and some of those were very strange. So we're also adding and deleting some of the modules, and have had a very good reception to some of those efforts. So, let's see. Yay! I'm so excited. All right, now these are some icons that we have changed. And you can see, like, the housekeeping request with the adorable little house didn't make necessarily a lot of sense to us. So we've got some awesome housekeeping tools. Health services, this is a really important one. This is a very detailed new module. Jill Sandler, she's the chair of the Health Services Committee. And she's done a phenomenal job of coming up with a very detailed informational module for health services. So, and that's still a little bit in the working phase, but it's something you all should look at. It's excellent. Bus services, we took the car out and put a bus in there, so we're real proud of that one. That was, yay. And for history, and where's Mary Jane? I don't know if there she is. Mary Jane, why are you sitting way in the back? Mary Jane is our chief historian, and she does a phenomenal job as the historian, or chief historian for Westminster Oaks. And we wanted to make it clear that the history is the history of Westminster Oaks and not of the world in general, so people don't get too disappointed about that. So anyway, those are just a few to look at. Okay, these are a couple of new modules. And we had a process for employee recognition that was called Legendaries, and it was a little confusing to people as what that entailed. So the new module will explain there are several different nominations you can make for our wonderful employees who have provided outstanding service to you. And this also provides a form that you can send on, and you can send your nomination to our human relations person, that's Kim Heineman, and you will get an email back indicating that it has been received. So those are a couple things that people have expressed concern about. They don't know if the submission has been accepted, not accepted, gone to the right person, and so we have some good information on that. The next one up there, and it's a little hard to read, it says Go Green, but it's our environmental residents who are very interested in getting information out to other residents about initiatives for the environment and other related subjects. So please take a look at those, and they'll hopefully be helpful to you. We're also, in all of these developments, we're dealing very graciously with Kelly Strandberg, who is the Vice President of Healthy Aging and Longevity in Orlando. And she's very interested in working on platforms like MyWLife and hearing our thoughts on it and how we're proposing changes. And she's been very kind and receptive to the work that we've done. Now, one other thing that we wanted to let you know, and this will take a while, but the resident directory situation, we're concerned that a lot of staff time from Westminster Oaks and some dysfunction has caused us to have two separate modules for resident directories. We'd like there to be one, and it be a really good directory that is working well and properly, and that we're not there yet. But we're aware of the situation, and we're really trying to work with everyone involved to come up with a really good first-class resident directory for everyone. And we also are quite aware of what things people really value, like the neighborhood directories and the ability to search the neighborhood directories. So with that said, hang on, Peter. Oh, there's Shannon. How did I get so far?
Please
Wait a minute.
hold.
The what?
Please hold.
Hold what? Yeah, right, stop. I know. I just got too enthusiastic with my pushing. So it's the one that looks like this. Thank you, Daisy. All right, and with that said, I will introduce my colleague on the committee, Peter Butzin, and he's going to talk about a new project that he was instrumental in not only thinking of, but executing. Thanks.
So Janet missed one, and that was, we have a new away module too, relatively new, yes. Okay, you all know about the away module. Instead of having to go to the front desk to fill out a form when you go away off campus, now you can do that all through MyWLife, thanks to your Communications Advisory Committee. So in September, Mike Rashad, the chair of the Residents Council Communications Advisory Committee, asked me to form a subcommittee recommending a new MyWLife module for prospective and new residents. The committee, the little subcommittee that we formed, consists of Rosemarie Worley and John Wynn. And I should mention that John originally inspired the project by suggesting a list of questions that he found to be unanswered when he and Kathy moved into Westminster Oaks. Both Rosemarie and John are relatively new residents, and then I chaired the subcommittee. So we drafted some answers to questions that needed to be answered in the resident handbook or the contract that we all signed when we moved into Westminster Oaks. In other words, a lot of the questions that people ask are indeed in the resident's handbook. I'll admit, I didn't find that out until 2 years after we moved here, that a lot of the answers are in the resident's handbook, which is on MyWLife. We also all signed a contract when we moved to Westminster Oaks. Some of us in the bustle and hustle of moving kind of forget some of the things in that contract. So I would also encourage that many of the answers to questions that people have are in the resident contract that we all signed. So we asked 30 new independent living residents who had moved to Westminster Oaks in September of 2023 for comments and suggestions. We also included members of the Communications Advisory Committee and also volunteer, they're called ambassadors, who greet and assist new residents and other residents who have asked to be included to be involved in our project. So all in all, we ended up with about 60 people involved in this project. We gathered all the input and conducted a meeting in late October to engage in conversation for suggestions to improve the process of helping prospective and new member residents adjust to life in our community. And as I say, altogether about 60 people participated in this project. Many of you are in the room, and I thank you for your input. After several drafts, our subcommittee gathered all the information and created a report that we presented to the administration, to Jane Hudson, and to the Communications Advisory Committee. We produced 2 documents. First, our committee initially aimed to draft a document that included answers to commonly asked questions. To keep the document manageable, we strove to include answers to questions of significant interest. During our research, however, we learned that many new residents need help understanding the community policies and procedures and have experienced deficiencies when moving into Westminster Oaks. So while our work was not intended to address specific resident issues, we agreed to prepare a separate document of suggestions for the administration. Well, I met with Shannon last Thursday. She suggested fine-tuning a few of our proposed answers and responded to questions that only she, as the head of the administration, could answer. I have presented her with a response draft that attempts to clarify a few of those responses and also to improve the document style. Shannon is on vacation for the next 2 weeks. In fact, she's on her way to Paris with her 2 twins. But she's promised to respond to my suggestions quickly upon her return. She also announced that the administration has agreed to our suggestion that a move-in navigator, that's our term, be assigned to help new residents move and adjust to life in our community. And I'm pleased to report that Kelly Skiba will fulfill this new role. Shannon also confirmed that the maintenance department indeed uses a checklist to ensure everything is ready for new residents before they move into their resident. She shared that checklist, which I have also forwarded to the committee for its additional suggestions. Mike and I expect that this new module for new and prospective members to be live within the first quarter of 2025. So be on the lookout for this helpful new addition. It will complement the extensive work of the Communications Advisory Committee over the last 2 years to improve MyWLife, which Janet discussed earlier. By the way, we have recommended that the marketing department highlight the new module for prospective and not just new residents. Indeed, for those of you who may not understand, MyWLife modules that do not contain resident or other sensitive information can be made available to the public, including prospective members. So our subcommittee believes that this module will help answer questions that prospective residents may be just as interested in having answered as new residents. So in conclusion, we're excited about this new module. We're excited to have contributed the input necessary for its creation. We look forward to further recommendations and implementation. We especially thank Shannon and her team for recognizing that this will benefit not only residents, new residents, and prospective residents, but also the team, because it'll make their job easier by not having to willy-nilly answer questions throughout the process of somebody moving in. Finally, I thank John, Rosemarie, and 60 residents who've provided input for the report. Thank you. Are there any questions? Any questions? Yes. It's coming. The microphone is on its way.
Peter, I appreciate all the work you did because as a new Peter, I appreciate the work you did because I know when I submitted, I sent you a multi-page, probably indecipherable list of complaints mainly because our apartment was totally not ready for us. But I do have a question. Why were assisted living residents not included?
Well, the charge from the committee was to include the residents that were included, the independent living residents. And what I think that we felt, or the committee felt, that it was most appropriate for independent living residents because they not only have the most questions, but also have unique issues moving in. I don't think that precludes the opportunity to extend our work to those in assisted living and perhaps even the health center and the memory care center. However, if that comes, it will occur as Act 2, and I will share your concern with the committee.
Well, I'm very concerned about that because I know that many people I've met in assisted living cognitively are just as sharp as people in independent and do have a peculiar set of interests that often they feel are not answered because of their, because their unique circumstances. And I really think we must give them the same voice in input on these issues as
Duly
everyone
noted.
else. And that includes people in the health center.
Understood. Duly noted. Thank you. Any others? Yes.
when I moved in, right up, okay. When I moved in about 7.5 years ago, I believe marketing told me that before I moved in, as a prospective resident, that I could not have the handbook or access to my W Life, that it was privacy issues or whatever, until I signed the contract. Has that barrier been removed?
It has. I mean, it is possible to visit My W Life modules that do not have resident or any other sensitive information. And indeed, in the course of our research, in researching how other Westminster communities use My W Life, we were able to access many of their modules. So yes, this is available. And we will be recommending to Shannon that this new module be available, not only be available to prospective members, but also that marketing promote this as an opportunity to find questions or answers to commonly asked questions. Anything else? Okay, thank you, everyone.
I want to personally thank this committee for their work. You know, when we live here at Westminster Oaks and we hear all of the data, that we're, I think, 96% occupancy. We are the highest of all the Westminster facilities. Even though we know the occupancy is high, we know that as residents move in, and we've had quite a few within the last few years, there are issues, and they have come to the attention of us as well as to administration. And I'm so thankful for Peter, because he's been a recent resident, and to convene the new residents, because there are particular kind of issues that each one has. But I will emphasize the fact that there is a handbook and also the contract. And I think we all need to take, time, if you have friends that are thinking of moving in, to read those documents, because they do give a wealth of information. And then when they can go on My W Life as a visitor, if they're thinking of moving in, and they can read another document. So we hope there's not too many types of, but you can't have too many types of communication, I think. So it's going to be so worthwhile to have that available to residents that will answer questions of our current residents, as well as for new individuals who are thinking of moving. Okay, I think Vicki now, I'm going to ask Vicki to come and update us on any kind of issues. I'm sorry, I overlooked it. Sue Wattenberg is going to introduce a new resident, and hopefully a lot of those questions have been answered for those individuals.
Exactly. I know I had a lot of questions when I moved in. But good morning, everybody. And I'd like to introduce Gerald and Geraldine Richardson. Would like to stand just briefly? And they are living on diplomacy. Thank you. They are both native Floridians. Geraldine was born in Daytona Beach but grew up in Miami, and Gerald was born and raised in Pensacola. Gerald worked for the Leon County School System and the Department of Education here in Tallahassee, and Geraldine taught elementary school after graduating from FSU, then returned to FSU to get her master's degree as a reading specialist. Both Gerald and Geraldine are what they term water rats. And Gerald has a captain's license, and they have owned several boats, both large and small. They love traveling in their RV, and they enjoy camping as well as boating. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning. As it was mentioned earlier, Shannon is on vacation for a few weeks, so I will be here and hopefully be able to assist you if you need me. Just going to share a few updates and notes with you today. as you've probably noticed, the chiller is moved away, the temporary chiller, it's gone, so yay. That's kind of an eyesore that we've been waiting to get out of here. So the other one is up and running, and we gave it a little time to make sure it was working well before we removed the old one. The pumps have, and for Perry Center and Oak South, have been completely installed, tested, and are operational. So good shape there. Hopefully we won't need them for a flood again, but they're there and operational, so we're in good shape there. Lower level, progress continues. The construction crews are still working down there. The latest project was sealing the floors. That has been completed, and started the flooring. And actually, the Perry Center area from the elevator lobby down the maintenance hallway and where the dining office was, things like that, all that area, flooring has been installed in the past week. So they are coming right along, and the clinic flooring has been installed. So making good progress, hope to continue on with that. And I know we're all eager to have that space available again. We are also working with an interior designer that's worked with our architect as well, helping us select things needed for furnishings and to move forward to cabinetry, things like that, so that we can get everything back in order for resident use and for office space. So those are in the works at this time. Other announcements, our department heads, along with Shannon, have reviewed our quality of life surveys from this year, and the areas that we can focus on primarily will be efficiencies in dining service and maintenance service. So those are the two focus areas. Of course, all areas of concern are addressed, and we do put those through our quality assurance program and continue to monitor the progress on any plans we put in place. So hope you are able to see any improvements as they are made. Shannon wanted me to mention that she will plan to start neighborhood meetings again in the new year. Not sure exactly, but just, stay tuned to those weekly memos, and she'll start putting out some dates and things for that for your input. Let's see, Westminster Games are coming up after the first of the year in February. You can still sign up. I think we've missed the games for the last couple of years, so we are very pleased that I think we already have 8 to 10 residents signed up to go. Meredith will be going, Lynn Kimmel is going, and so there's still time to sign up on MyWLife if you're interested or want more information about it. See Meredith Swain. Also just wanted to share a little information about a special event that was held the weekend before Thanksgiving. Hopefully many of you were able to attend. The international students from FSU joined many of our residents here in the McGuire Center for a Thanksgiving Without Borders celebration. So approximately 150 people attended. They had food, fellowship, and some of the students provided entertainment. And Shannon received an email that she wanted me to share that came from one of our residents. It says, "The dinner this evening was wonderful, delicious, and memorable. I asked 2 of the students at my table, one from Nigeria and one from Ghana, what surprised them most about America. And they both said they were surprised at how kind and friendly and welcoming everyone was. That answer really surprised and reassured me that America's image hasn't changed horribly to the rest of the world. And I'm sure that tonight's dinner did a lot to enhance our image. Thanks to the staff who worked so hard to make the evening such a wonderful success. Another blessing to be grateful for." And just want to thank all of you for all of the gracious, kind acts that you have provided to our campus and to our team members. I want to say special thanks to all the residents who contributed to the Employee Christmas Fund. It really made a difference in the employees' lives and just helps them out during this time of year. It's very special and very meaningful to them. And I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Anything else?
Thank you, Vicki. We have a comment.
She was asking, is there a new well being drilled or something? You probably saw that as you're coming in on Meandering just before the four-way stop. They are doing a repair, something there, so I'm sorry. I wish I would have asked Tim to get more details, but I will ask him, and if there's more to add to that, we'll put that in our weekly memo this week, okay? And get you an update. Any other questions or comments? Just, somebody's got the mic, give them just a second.
Has the minimum age to join Westminster been changed?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, you would know, I would
Yeah,
think.
nothing has changed.
So it's still 62?
Yes.
Thank you.
And we had a question here in the front. The weekly memo, it should have went out. Did anyone else not receive it? Just, most people did? You did not get it? I received it this morning. Okay, I'll find out what happened. It was completed on Friday. I will ask Lynn to send that out again this morning. Maybe something happened or she didn't hit send, so we'll get that out to everyone. Any other questions?
Hey, Vicki.
Hey.
This is innocuous. I just wanted to remind everybody, since Peter kindly mentioned the going away module, if you're taking more than one trip, do a separate form to security, to Robert, for each trip. So don't put more than one trip on a form. And that's really important. And by the way, our security office is very, very happy with that form and with being able to keep up with our residents who are going to be away. So just keep that in mind. And also try not to put any instructions for maintenance or housekeeping on the going away form. Do that separately if you need to communicate with them. So only for security. Thanks, Vicki.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone else.
About that form, I got a call from Robert because I tried to submit Thanksgiving and Christmas at the same time before Thanksgiving. Wait until you've completed one trip before you enter the information for the second one. And also for maintenance, one task per work request. So I've gotten feedback on that because I did it wrong.
Okay. Anything else? All right, I'll turn it back to Ms. Hudson.
While we're on the topic of MyWLife, and we encourage everyone to use it, because that is our vehicle of information, what's happening, how to sign up for things. There was an issue that occurred Saturday night for those of us that went to the symphony. We have a driver, usually Ken, and on MyWLife, on the WLife events, you sign up for the bus. Now, usually there's a limit, 24 on a bus, but I did discover that there's also a paper list that is located, I think, somewhere around Oak South. The problem occurs when Ken gets the list from MyWLife, and then there are additional names who have not signed up on the official MyWLife event calendar. Then we have more individuals who would not fit on the bus. So it was necessary that 4 of our individuals who have a parking pass, and it was convenient this time, but it will not be convenient the next time. But you know, if there's so many that need to ride the bus, then we need to communicate to Lynn that there's an urgency to possibly have 2 buses for some of these activities that are so popular. So I would encourage every single one of you, if you're signing up for the bus, sign up on MyWLife, so your name is officially on that list. And so it'll eliminate the confusion, because Ken was in a predicament with too many wanting to ride the bus, and the limit had been reached. So, fuel.
Jane, you might consider having some staff person check that paper list. Not everyone has computers. So although it worked out fine this time, we either don't need a paper list, or somebody needs to combine the paper list, and not a resident needs to combine the paper list with the computer list.
Well, I would encourage that if you have no access to your computer, you have a friend that does to sign you up, or call Lillian. We might even mention to Lillian, or send a message to Lynn, because really the official list needs to be MyWLife. If you don't have access, then check with someone, neighbor, Daisy. Actually, it's almost a requirement to live here, I think, to have access to, because you're at a disadvantage if you are not connected to what's happening, because you're missing out on so many different activities. So I'm just bringing it up because it was an issue that happened, and I think we need to be aware of it and have a solution. So if the only avenue you have is to sign up on that list, then you need to communicate with someone about how can you efficiently get on that list officially, so that we won't have this happen again. What? Not post the papers. I'll mention that. I mean, I'm not the official person. I'm just saying this is a concern. But that's an issue that we need to probably bring up to Lynn. So, you're right. You're right. Because then it creates an issue that has occurred and may not happen again, but again it could. Margaret.
Part of the problem this time, I think, was Thanksgiving in the middle of all this, and that I tried to sign up on MyWLife, and it wasn't up there 2 weeks before.
Right.
And it's a little nerve-wracking to check every day to find out, well, is it or not? So, but the main thing is, that I think, to eliminate this having to happen in the future, is that only one list should be there.
Yes.
If possible.
I know Lynn had overlooked it, and I had mentioned to her, and people had to get it on the event list probably less than a week. And then also, it was a little confusing because there were two buses, one for the afternoon and one in the evening, and I think some people sort of got confused there. But this will be something that we need to address, because, you know, we don't want it to happen again. If you need transportation, we need to ride the bus, and maybe we need two buses or a bus and a van to accommodate all of our people.
Jane,
yes.
I don't think that I could sign up a friend on MyWLife, because when you go in
You
there,
can't do
it just
that.
automatically puts your name up. It's connected to your computer.
If
Okay.
I may,
Yes.
if I may, there are public computers in the little media center next to the bistro. You can use those computers to sign into your personal MyWLife, and from there, sign up for events. And then once you close down the computer, it logs you out automatically. So those are free computers that you're welcome to use whenever you want, for whatever.
And if you're not sure how to sign on to yours, see Daisy. And because, you know, everyone needs to have, I encourage you to have access. Because, again, this is our means of communication to know what's going on, and you're missing out. So, yes.
Jane, one question I have about a friend who lives in assisted living who does not use a computer. I usually have signed her up on that list to go, because she does go to concerts and to the basketball games. But I guess if I can't sign her up, how is she going to to sign
That's
up?
going to be a research item that we will discover how to do that.
I'm sure
It
that
may
there
be
are other people in assisted
an
living.
email or a contact with Lynn to get them on the list. But I think we need to figure out a,
I'm sure there are others in assisted living who go
right.
to these events.
And it has not been a problem, but it has in the few times, the last few months, month or so, I think, it has been an issue. One time, Ken, we had one extra person on the bus, and do you know what Ken did? He drove around and got a wheelchair and strapped it in the back of the bus, and we had our extra person to ride the bus in the wheelchair. So, you know, it is an issue that we need to be concerned with, and I will talk to Lynn, and we'll try to figure out what's the best way, and then we'll communicate that to everybody. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
I would ask the residents, after you do sign up, and if you have some circumstances where you cannot go, please go in and take your name off the list. That
Excellent.
would be very helpful, and the rest of us will help Ken manage the crowd.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, another aspect of that, I believe this time it came to our attention that there was confusion about what time the bus leaves. Yes, and some people have missed the bus, let's face it, because they weren't sure. Now, I think it'd be just a good idea on those announcements to put the departure time.
It did, 6:30. I don't know, I'm not
Okay,
sure
I
where you
think-
saw a different time. You said you indicated you did. I'm not sure where that
Well-
was.
Be that as it may, it wouldn't hurt to say.
Well, it does. On the
Okay, okay.
where
I-
you
I
sign
didn't
up,
see
it always
on the
says
list that I have.
this time you. Also, I noted if you're doing an activity with Laura, a lot of times they meet out front here. I just discovered that when you do an activity. So that's another consideration. Now, when you sign up, does it say that? I don't know. That's something. Communications, we'll check on that. Clarity. Yes.
I was just going to add, when you, if you can't go, it's often the day of, and registration is closed. So what I have done, and I recommend that you do it, look on the list who's going, contact them, so that at least at the time of the bus, that person can say, oh, Beverly's not going. So it's just another way to contact them that you're not going, if you can't get off the list.
My motto is we get by with a little help from our friends. So that's always very helpful. You're right. If the bus looks like it's full and you can't go, and so they're not driving around Azalea or Chasen to pick you up. And that's another. But I am so thankful. I know most of you that have ridden the bus to have that access to take us to our concerts at Ruby Diamond and the other venues. I mean, it's just a special treat. It's just a safety feature for us, and I'm so thankful that we have that. But it's just a little quirky things that we need to clear up, so I appreciate all of your input. Another announcement from Residents Council, we have created our nominating committee for our next board, which will be coming up fairly soon in the spring, and our nominating committee will be a co-chair. I'm not sure that Linda knows this, but Marie Coward and Linda Stalvey will be co-chair of that committee. Bill Gill's going to serve, as well as Richard Corbett, Julian, and Lanny will be serving. And also, out there, search your soul, because you know that we have so many valuable people, so many that are so experienced in leadership, who are out there just kind of retired. You know, sometimes we say, I'm going to retire and do nothing, but that can be a little boring. I know I've realized it this year. Once you get involved, it's a job. I will have to admit, it's a job. It takes time and energy and effort, but it's so valuable to get to know a lot of people and to see what's happening here at Westminster Oaks and to see all the good things. Our committees that work are just unbelievable, the time that they spend and the energy in order to help all of us to be better aware of things that are going on, to make sure that our grounds are taken care of, to make sure that our safety issues, you know, all of those committees that meet regularly. The health issues, oh my goodness, the Health Services Committee that try to make us aware of all the things that are available to us, as well as My W Life. I keep saying that. So I'm just so appreciative to all of those. And so think about, if you're interested, put your name in, call Linda or Marie Cowart. Say, I'm interested in thinking about it. Let me hear more about what the board actually does. And we have an excellent board this year, and I'm sorry, well, we'll have a new one starting, and I'll be a past president, so I'll be a member, but Robin Gray will be taking over in May, and you could never have a better individual to sort of take over. So, are there any other comments, questions? Lanny?
Well, it's too bad that Miss Harriet's not here right now, but tomorrow, the 17th, is our president's birthday. So I think we all should sing happy birthday. Stand up, Miss Jane. Yes, ma'am, if you would, please.
Another one of those.
Day to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jane. Happy birthday to you.
How many other December birthdays are there out there? Anybody today? How about stand up if your birthday's today or this month, December? Come on, stand up. Hey, and happy birthday to all of you too. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Lanny. All right, any other comments or questions or? Okay. I think she said it was Friday. Isn't that what she corrected, the other PJs and pancakes Friday? I think it said it was. I think she clarified it, but I'll mention to Lynn, but I think it's Friday. I think it's pancakes and PJs. We're in the bistro. This is Lynn Kimmel's holiday treat for us in the dining room. I did see something special, I think, on the calendar. On my birthday, there will be a chef demonstration of a chocolate pecan pie tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I think they're celebrating my birthday with that chocolate pecan pie, so I will not miss that. So, but look at, you know, at the end of your wow, at the end of the calendar, I just sometimes overlook that, but I was looking at it today. Those are all the special activities in the dining room. So I think if you look at, do you have your wow in the back? Does it say Friday? The pancake day? Friday. Yeah, I think it's Friday. So anyway, look at your wow on the last page for that. Okay, I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday. Actually, when we meet in January, we're going to meet on the 25th, I think it is. Martin Luther King Day is the normal day that we would have our residence council, but because of the holiday, we're going to go to the next day. I think it was up there. Anyway, have a great day and have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.